Hello, my lovely chronically online friends. I'm Athena Tamayo, and welcome back to the Cycle of Life, where we talk about everything and anything under the sun.
Girl, I must.
For context, if you're new here or you simply need a little bit of a refresher since our last episode was sadly 2 years ago, The Cycle of Life is an informative vlogging channel that consists of multiple student researchers that are curious about our world. And recently I've noticed how many of my friends have been wearing Shane lately. Like, yeah, sure, the clothes are stylish and all that, but wasn't Shane cancelled for having unethical labor practices such as sweatshops like years ago? But then again, who am I to judge? As a broke senior high school student myself, my personal wardrobe mostly consists of second-hand and thrifted items, just as what I am wearing right now. As I really don't have the money to buy new ones, I rarely think or even consider fast fashion brands and retailers when it comes to shopping for new clothes. In short, I thrift and make use of what I have as much as I can. So it got me really curious. If Shane is considered popular amongst my peers and is considered as a leading fast fashion brand due to its affordability, then what are the other brands and what are the other factors that makes them fall under that category? And most of all, what makes it still so appealing to students despite its ethical controversies? So, what is fast fashion? As of 2025, the Encyclopedia Britannica defines fast fashion as a term that refers to the rapid production of inexpensive, low-quality clothing that often mimics the popular styles of fashion labels, big-name brands, and even independent designers. But what are the components that define it?
Hello viewers, I'm Joan Padron and I love fashion. But I've been thinking, why is it so cheap and changing so fast? What is the real cost behind it?
Hi, I'm David Navarro, and I love affordable fashion too. But I've also started wondering, how does this affect the environment and the people making our clothes? Let's break down the fast fashion cycle and what it really means.
So, have you ever thought about why fast fashion moves so fast? Brands like Zara and H&M see what's trending, copy the design, and then boom, it's in the stores in just weeks. These fast cycles makes people buy new clothes because trends always change.
But let's be real, the prices? Super tempting. But they use cheap materials like polyester and nylon, which don't last long. As noted by M. Ross in her analysis of fast fashion's labor practices, these fabrics are often made from low-quality materials, contributing to their disposable nature. And the environmental impact? It's huge. Fast fashion causes 10% of global carbon emissions. That's more than all international and shipping combined. An article by Rashmila Maiti reported that, and it's honestly crazy.
Plus, it wastes tons of water. About 20% of global wastewater comes from clothing production. In an article by Mighty Year 2025, it pointed out that dyeing in fabric making process also pollute rivers.
And don't forget microplastics. Martina Iginti explains that synthetic fabrics take hundreds of years to break down. And every time we wash them, tiny plastic fibers pollute the ocean.
But what do students think? Our survey shows Shein, H&M, and Zara are the most known brands. No shocker, right? They're affordable and trendy.
But here's the thing. Most students know fast fashion's impact, but affordability still wins. According to the Geneva Environment Network, many consumers would switch to sustainable fashion if it were cheaper, as the high cost remains a significant barrier.
So if sustainable fashion becomes more affordable, maybe the future of fashion isn't all bad.
Thank you so much for that insight, Joan and David. Now that Joan and David have discussed the fast fashion's components, it has me wondering how its production can affect our environment. But who can answer that?
I'm Farrah, your local fashion lover. Although fast fashion is seen as an affordable way to keep up with the trends, this comes at a heavy cost. This industry often relies on synthetic fabrics, cheap labor, and a ton of greenwashing to sell these garments at a cheaper price. Over the years, there have been multiple studies on the fast fashion industry's contribution to climate change. According to the UN, they contribute around 2 to 8% to the total of the global greenhouse gas emissions.
Fast fashion companies are produce vast quantities of clothing at low prices, encouraging consumers to buy frequently. This cycle of overproduction and overconsumption drives increased resource use and waste generation.
Additionally, out of all the garments produced by the industry, a whopping 85% of all the textiles end up in landfills. These garments are often made out of synthetic materials, which take years to degrade but only last a couple of washes before being thrown away.
Fast fashion contribution to climate change is a pressing issue that requires collective actions from consumers, businesses, and policymakers. By embracing sustainable alternatives and promoting responsible consumption, we can mitigate the negative impacts of fashion and work towards a more sustainable future.
And although there are government initiatives promoting sustainability and green consumerism here in the Philippines, this alone is not enough to help our planet. We need collective effort in order to mitigate the damages left by the fast fashion industry.
Worrying, isn't it? But why do students continue to patronize fast fashion despite its negative environmental impacts?
Roseanne and Farrah, some great points. But here's the question. If we know fast fashion has negative effects, why do we keep buying it? I'm Aron.
Hello, I'm Daniela, and we're here to find out fast fashion is affordable, trendy, and everywhere. But despite its harmful impact on the environment, why APEC students still buy into it?
In an article by Araña Samson in 2023, most young consumers purchase fast fashion due to affordability and peer influence. There's also the psychological factor, what experts call fashion pressure, where social media trends strongly shape clothing choices.
But what exactly do we mean by trends and peer influence?
Trends are the styles, colors, and clothing items that gain popularity within a certain period, often influenced by celebrities, influencers, and social media. When a certain aesthetic starts trending, people feel the need to follow along to stay relevant.
And then, their peer influence. This is when people pressure, either directly or indirectly, to dress a certain way because their friends, classmates, or social circles doing it. The fear of being left out or updated makes many students feel like they have to keep up. So why can't APEC students just stop buying fast fashion? Here are the top reasons. First, it's cheap and accessible. Not everyone can afford sustainable fashion. Fast fashion provides trendy choices within a student budget. Second, social media influence. With TikTok and Instagram dictating trends, there's pressure to keep up. Third, peer influence. Seeing friends and classmates wear the latest styles creates an unspoken expectation to do the same. Fourth, limited awareness. Many don't fully understand fast fashion's environment impact. Some think it's a small issue. And lastly, convenience. It's fast, easy, and available everywhere, both online and in stores.
What do you think? Why do students still buy fast fashion despite knowing its impact?
Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it.
Now, those are valid reasons, especially that APEC online students live in different parts of the country. But what can we do as students to cultivate responsible purchasing habits?
Thank you for your time, Aron and Daniela. Hello, I'm iceeneoo Pagkaliwangan, and I'm here to provide some solutions and alternatives to lessen your purchase on fast fashion. As also said earlier, many students are motivated to buy fast fashion due to its affordability and accessibility. But despite this, students express a desire for more sustainable and eco-friendly options. To foster this shift, first, schools and organizations should employ strategies like peer-led campaigns, promoting second-hand clothing, and utilizing digital platforms to raise awareness about the fast fashion environmental effect. Second, is partnering with local designers can enhance knowledge on responsible consumerism, and the government can provide support for eco-friendly brands.
A great example of a local sustainable designer is the up-and-coming self-taught new wave-inspired Dell Morales. In their recent collection Weight of Love, Dell emphasizes the use of fabrics that were no longer used by their family and friends, as a reference to the collectivism of Pont des Arts and Paris that is heavily adorned by countless of flocks from couples around the world, and by the basahang bilog, which are made by multiple scraps of different fabrics.
Third is collaboration with local influencers who promote sustainable fashion and can make friendly choices more relatable.
Kissing in Cars, better known as Eloise on multiple social media platforms, is a great example of a senior high school influencer that promotes thrifting in the local fashion scene, showing that sustainable fashion alternatives could be fun, experimental, and aesthetically pleasing to the eye without having to spend tons of money and hurt the environment in the process.
Lastly, future studies should include diverse samples to capture a broad understanding of the fast fashion phenomenon in the Philippines, aiding in fostering sustainable choices. Overall, these alternatives and solutions may not be a permanent solution, but it can be a temporary alternatives to lessen its purchase and can give knowledge to students before buying fast fashion.
Now that you've learned more about fast fashion and its negative impact to our environment, I have a question for you. Do you feel a lot more responsible now in purchasing sustainable fashion or other alternatives to fast fashion brands? If yes, and if also no, then comment down below what are your thoughts, as we want to know more about your insights. Again, this is the Cycle of Life, and I'm Athena Tamayo, your main host, and we'll see you again next episode. Bye-bye!
Girl, I must